Next panel, developments in the cloud industry and the role of hyperscalers, will explore the critical role of cloud hyperscalers in the digital era, including major trends like AI, sustainability, and security within data centers. I'd like to invite the following panelists to share their expertise. Rick Kapani, founder and CEO, Apptium. Noman Wahid, head of technology, Middle East Nokia. Mohammed Hamouda, regional director, business development and solution sales, NEC GCC. Maria Stepneva, head of sales, Canada Juniper Networks. Majid Al-Naqbi, head of data center business, ICT Do. Pavel Vishnyakov, senior solution architect, Huawei Cloud, Middle East and Central Asia. This panel will be moderated by Jonathan Zelmanovich, partner of PMP Strategy. Let's give them a round of applause.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming back for the coffee earlier and attending to this panel, which you have understood by the name it has, that we're gonna talk about the big hype of the moment, which is, from our perspective, not a hype, but a sustainable and long-term transformation for everyone. The idea of the discussion that we will have today is, of course, to discuss about the growth of the hyperscaler demand, which is, as you have probably seen in your business, amazing in terms of size and capacity that it requires from a data center perspective, but also astonishing from a usage perspective. And the whole purpose of today is to trying to understand how the telcos can leverage and rely on this growth engine to not just be I would say, on the passenger seat, but on the driving seat, and trying to grasp the value of it. So I have the chance with me to have 6 great panelists with me, which coming from different perspectives, which are going to bring you their perspective from either, I would say, equipment or OEM vendors, but also from the operation, from software providers, and cloud service providers. So the first question and the first topic that we want to discuss before anything is trying to give to the audience a little bit of order of magnitude in terms of the importance of hyperscaler in today's economy. Because as you know, this business is growing above 20% year on year, and it has been boosted and supercharged recently with AI. And the whole purpose of this first topic is to give the audience a broader picture based on the panel's experience of what is represented and what is the order of magnitude that we're talking about. So probably we're going to start first with Rick. Rick, would you give us a little bit of perspective on what you're seeing in terms of growth and what is the magnitude that we're talking about?
Sure, love to. No, thank you. It's a great question. First, I'd like to once again say thank you to everyone in attendance and the Telecom Review for hosting such a great event. The question as you put it, right, the importance of the hyperscaler in today's economy. The last word in that sentence is fantastic. Let's look at it from economics, right? The total addressable size of the market from an IT services standpoint globally is $5.4 trillion. Telecom services represent approximately $1.4 trillion of that spend. So the remaining $4 trillion, you have $1 trillion in software, SaaS, and then you've got services in cloud. The hyperscalers today, if we look at it, they represent the lion's share of that $4 trillion. Right? They're at the center of the ecosystem in the connected fabric that is dealing with everything it takes to deliver SaaS, deliver software as a service, deliver the systems integrations, migrate and shift workloads. But they're also developing a collaborative ecosystem that continues to foster growth in those numbers, in that $4 trillion. And if we look at the growth of it, once again, as you put it, in the importance of the economy, that sector is at a projected growth of 19 to 22%. Capitalized annual growth rate year over year. That's massive. right? If we look at the economics of it, as we look at what that means continued investment, means continued innovation. It also means continued opportunity. Hyperscalers are providing an opportunity to take technologies to corners of the world and throughout the globe that have never been seen before, right? We talk about the use of AI, we talk about models, we talk about innovation. It's going to come from far-reaching corners of the globe, but yet be centralized through an offering that is through the hyperscalers. So, as you put it, the importance of the hyperscalers is to foster that collaboration. The importance we should look at them from an economic standpoint is to look at the dominance and use that as an example to say, how do we leverage that model? As we would put it, or as you ask it, now how does that relate to telecom? You know, as we have discussed, and I think with my fellow panelists, it'll be an interesting conversation. The hyperscalers' goal potentially is to disrupt telecom, right? It is to take the $1.4 trillion that represents that telecom spend and turn it into nothing but a marketplace listing available through purchase of the cloud. A simple click and connect. So as we look at the importance, I would say that that dominance from an economic standpoint is there with respect to hyperscalers.
Pavel, you wanted to discuss a little bit, if I remember, and I think that's exactly the heart of the topic, is how do you think, given the importance of those cloud hyperscalers, and you are one of them too, the telco can make money on the back of the others?
Well, yes. Actually, first of all, I would like to say I not completely agree with Rick when he said that.
Which is good.
Which is good.
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
good.
Hyperscalers are not trying to disrupt the telcos business. It's completely otherwise. Actually, hyperscalers and telcos are best friends, and I can explain you why. You know that telecom business is a hard business. It's a long time before you just introduce another technology, or maybe you connect another million subscribers and your business is growing and growing and growing. But right now, when every family maybe have already 3, 4, 5 SIM cards, how can you grow your business? Your traditional business is stagnating, and you need to find new revenue streams. And how can you do this? There are some options like provide some media services, some like TV, whatever, streaming, but there are much better companies who can do it. It's like OTT players. Yes, those players are running on top of clouds, most likely, but it's not like a cloud problem. It's a problem like hyperscalers giving convenient platform, and carriers, telecom, can give such convenient platform by themselves. Okay, I'm representative of Huawei, and we are hyperscaler from China, and on Chinese market, every carrier is our partner. Before they become our partner and starting to do the cloud business, they have completely the same situation. The business is stagnating, revenue is not growing, even is sometimes declining. But when they introduce cloud, the B2B is becoming new growth. And among all B2B services, the cloud part is the fastest growing and contributing the most. How they can do this? Actually, hyperscaler, it's like a data center, right? Data center is a big room full of equipment. It's all network is inside. It has nothing to do with telco, right? But this data center don't have any meaning if it's not connected to the worldwide network. And to connect to worldwide network, usually we're connecting through carriers. So we use carrier connectivity. So we buy service from them to be connected and interconnected all over the world. This is one thing. Second thing, we are providing our technology to carriers. You know that today, every carrier, 100% of carriers, are planning to have their own cloud. For self-use or to become B2B cloud provider, but every carrier, 100%, they are planning or already having or maybe already building something, but they want to do. And hyperscaler can give them the best technology to do this because hyperscalers are running this business all over the world for years. They're quite successful in this. So their technology of building the cloud are the best in the world. And last but not least, there are many options to partner. Not only like take technology and build the cloud. Carriers can become a partner and play a role in hyperscaler extension. For example, carriers are given their data center and their connectivity and inviting hyperscaler who is not present in the area to deploy their region or maybe their edge nodes to the data center of this carrier. And they joining their network, joining their infrastructure, and starting to earn money. Also, they can join their network in other terms, like carrier is becoming the part of hyperscaler global messaging facility. Carrier is becoming the part of hyperscaler global CDN infrastructure and can not only contribute his network, but also take something back. So carriers and hyperscalers are best friends. That's my point.
Thank you for that, yeah.
So sorry, just since it's a panel, I will respectfully agree to disagree. Okay, I understand you would say hyperscalers and telcos are best friends. Fundamentally, there's a difference, right? I would say yes. The carriers are they're the infrastructure. They're the connection. Right? We can talk about CDN. We can talk about connectivity. We can talk about edge. We can talk about slicing and VPCs. But the reality is, the hyperscalers today are selling with. They're selling with the carrier. They're selling with technology providers. They're selling with the SIs. They're selling with the VARs. They're selling in a connected ecosystem. If we look at traditionally, carriers are selling to. They're selling to the enterprise. They're selling to the customer. I would advocate that, yes, there is a great opportunity. And Pavel, you outlined what could be done. And I think certainly Huawei is an example of what could be done. But in the other opportunities, I think we're missing that. The hyperscalers today are becoming more dominant in their selling strategy of selling with and collaboration, and maybe surpassing that of what the operators could potentially be doing.
Well, just a simple...
Sorry, this panel is just between Pavel.
Just maybe 30 seconds. You know that there is such a thing as data sovereignty. And in many countries, hyperscalers are somewhere out there, and carriers are here. And this is a big opportunity for carrier, because everyone wants to use cloud services, but not everyone can use cloud services outside of their country. And there are huge opportunities for the carriers to become cloud providers using hyperscaler technology on their territory.
Okay.
I look forward to seeing that one day.
Rick, maybe we will give the mic to Mohammed. You wanted to add something, because you also share the perspective that there is something to do together and that it's not the opposite world.
Yeah, I fully understand, because I had some chat with Rick before, so I know where it's coming from. I can assume, the background of Bevel. So I think because we are in telecom-focused event, right? And we are talking in a panel about hyperscalers and, the potential that bringing for them one. So if you look at the background of telcos and hyperscalers, so telcos, cloud for them is not something new. They started the things to be in their current network in data centers since 2010. And you're starting with simple virtualization. They want to cloud native and would build for a purpose of keeping data in-house, serving complex network applications with specific, technical specification, and all that complexity that happen inside the telco backgrounds. Hyperscaler came in the picture. They make a disruptive, to the market. So they offered very flexible, agile digital experience to the customers worldwide. So Anna, in my view, over the past 10 years, that both sides are trying to fight it at some point of time, and I see now they came to a joint collaboration point. So, and also I see that everyone needs the other. So the hyperscaler needs the capabilities of the telco needs the capabilities of hyperscalers. So when we started look at early days of clouds for example, in mobile operators or in telcos and MSPs, so they built something which fit their purpose for their customer at that time, but they were lacking a lot of automation, CI/CD, CT, digital experience. And these things, they're trying to inherit it. So, for example, we as an EC, we helped the customer to get this kind of experience and inherited all of this kind of capabilities from mobile operators. Right now, we see the collaboration is the way forward. And it started already. So we are deploying now a kind of integration between the telcos and service providers for the use cases that helping them in many aspects. And this is also overcoming the challenges of security and sovereign of the data. So I see that, it's not this way or in this way, they are cooperating together. So also the hyperscaler need a mobile operator to unlock the access to the local customers. So customers not looking only for a specific cloud application that he will go and deploy, but he need, edge solution. He need to have like his private networks. This kind of things is helping a lot, the hyperscalers to have the local reach to the customers in-house there. We are now already reached the joint of collaboration. It's happening and deployed worldwide many ways. And everyone now is giving a value to the other. This is my view.
And Nomad, I assume that you concur.
Yes, so maybe I can give a little bit of different perspective because I understand what Rick was saying and Mohammed and then Powell. So when we talk about web scalers, my view is like frenemies. So they are friends and enemies at the same time, right? Because we see that now the world is moving from a vertical to horizontal, and collaboration is the key. Like we got this excellent presentation from Salim earlier today where he was talking about the transformation, especially digital transformation. We talk about autonomous AI, right? Those are the key trends which are transforming our industry of today. We need to take a different look how, from a CSP point of view and the web scaler point of view, how do we provide connectivity? Because it's not about connecting people anymore. It's about connecting anything and everything. We talk about the data rates. We talk about the enterprise. We talk about the private networks, right? So all these have their own characteristics in terms of the different requirements. So from a Nokia perspective as a provider to the CSPs, and of course working with the web scalers, we have already like the CNFs based on container, which have been virtualized. We've been running on private clouds such as, or public cloud like AWS, right? So Core had a very head start in doing virtualization much ahead of the RAN. From a network architecture point of view, Core is moving from a centralized to a decentralized. And from a radio perspective, we see from a highly distributed to also moving towards now toward a centralized position. So last year during MWC, we launched our AnyRAN solution, which is a cloud RAN solution. And this is basically a very flexible and agile solution working across the different industry members. So we are working with the hardware infrastructure like likes of Dell and HP, for example. We are working with the hyperscalers, AWS, Microsoft, IBM, and Google, right? So we're making sure that we are, as an industry, we're working across the board. So if you want to go fast, we'll go alone. But if you want to go further, we have to go together. And this is, I think, the main theme of our collaboration, to work across the industries, the hyperscalers, the CSPs, the equipment providers, and the OEMs, to work in synergy to make sure that we address all their concerns in a collaborative manner.
Thank you. I think that's set well the scene. Now, if we double-click for a second on the latest development of the cloud industry, I think what is interesting, and maybe I would like to have your perspective on that, is we have talked about the global perspective. So let's maybe focus a second for GCC region and trying to understand what is at stake here. And also, let's think about what are the different trends in terms of public versus private, and then the growth of the hybrid IT and hybrid cloud between private and public, and a little bit of the strategy that the operator should have between being the provider of sovereign cloud and at the same time fulfilling the needs of their client to be hybrid between sovereign and also the classical public cloud. So potentially, Mujib, you want to provide a perspective, or at least on the trends in GCC?
Sure. First of all, being from the telecom side and the ICT business, it's great to hear different perspectives and everyone's opinion on the slight agreement and disagreement of how the collaboration is being done between the hyperscalers, the telecom operators, and it's also great to understand the importance of such developments. So we all, I think the beautiful part is that we all agree how important are the hyperscalers, how the developments in the cloud industry is being advanced based on a lot of requirements and demand in the market that is driven, of course, by all of the advancements in AI and technologies, along with the regulations and the requirements by the countries in general, be it from the private or public or government sectors. On the data sovereignty or the sovereign side of the cloud, of course, the developments has been developing, I would say, day by day. So, you know, we see every day someone providing a new development and deployment for cloud and, of course, with sovereign capabilities in order to match the regulations of the countries. And, of course, in UAE, for example, we have also built the capability of the cloud services that we are offering, the sovereign cloud services that we are offering for our customers, again, for the government sector, public sector, and private sector. Such a requirement, of course, is also in alignment with the security regulations and the requirements of the data analytics and the data crunching, the data usage that is being done, that should be within the boundary of the country and the to meet the, of course, to be closer to the customers through our own data centers as well, along with meeting the demand that is being generated by the entities within the country itself.
Okay, thank you. Maria, you wanted also to give a couple of perspective on the trends after setting the scene. And from your perspective, I see that you see the big trend given the services that you're offering, but happy to, I think the audience will be happy to have your view on the global view.
Sure, thank you. So yeah, it was very interesting to hear different perspective, and I think just to be in the middle ground here, it all depends on the true partnership between hyperscaler and service provider and how you build it, right? Pavel, I think he brought up a good example that hyperscaler successfully works with a service provider, which is a fantastic job, but sometimes in US, there are some examples, then service provider can face some challenges and a bill shock from hyperscalers price increase, right? So it all depends on how on a regional basis you will agree with your hyperscaler and align on a long-term partnership for 5-10 years. If it's a good partner, then you will reach tremendous success, because I totally agree that it's impossible to build those all network connectivity within data center and also within the WAN and all across the fiber. It's just tremendous investment, huge investment, which will not be justified eventually, and you will never realize your return on investment. So back to the trends and what can be achieved. Like I think we all agree here that the investment in the cloud infrastructure is one of the biggest current trends, and I think Du was talking a lot about that their traffic increases day over day, right? Imagine it's a hyperscaler who produces a large amount of traffic, right? And if several years ago we were talking about megawatts, now we are talking about gigawatts, right? Meta just recently announced that we will be building in US with 2 gigawatts mega data center to support their cloud infrastructure. So that's, I think, the key trend, and that's difference, and that's change is driving the rest of the changes, such as introduction of new security features, introduction of disaster recovery features, also what sustainability, like how hyperscalers stick to sustainability requirements and ensure that decarbonization is in place. I think all of major ones such as Azure, GCP, AWS, I'm not sure about Huawei, made a commitment, but most of them made a commitment by 2040 to become net zero emission hyperscaler. So that's a similar thing that we are doing in Juniper. We align on the roadmap on how we decarbonize our gear by 2038. So that's also a major trend. And the last thing I would like to mention is edge. We talked about the big data centers, but just from a latency perspective, very important point that you want to ensure that your cloud infrastructure sits within the reach to the end user. So that's also in trans. Yes, we decentralized, but also centralized. I think it's going both ways, in fact. That's, yeah.
Thank you, Maya.
Thank you.
I think when we prepped the discussion, Mohammed, you wanted to highlight a couple of trends coming from the point of view of both the telcos and the hyperscaler, and the lesson learned from their side, especially on a couple of challenges like security?
So I think we all somehow agreed on the cooperation mode between the hyperscalers and the telcos. And this is putting the fact that still telcos need to have their own private clouds. Still they have, despite they can use for specific cases and they can maximize more capabilities on hyperscalers. So this one is coming with new needs for telcos that need to adopt. So operationalization part of the cloud is a key, that they have to evolve this one to reduce the operation and make it smooth and gain the same experience that they see in the hyperscaler. This is one of the trends that happen. Second part now is the new thing that operators, and this is how NEC is helping operators, and is to sell GPU as a service. So this is part from the new clouds offerings that we are giving to our customers. And in this one, you know, in normal customers, they don't have access to GPUs for the different reasons everyone knows. So this is, you know, an opportunity for operator for a new revenue stream. They have the capability, connection, and authority to have these GPUs inside. So they can build this based on specific clusters for customer. They can sell to their customers in the region, and the same country, region, and even again go global as well. And they are also could inherit many of the tools, the AI tools and operation tools from hyperscalers. This is having this kind of LM and AI adoption is coming with another challenge, which is the power consumption in terms of electricity bills, cooling, things like that. So now, operators has also to think on a new ways on how to go to the concept of green data centers. So decentralization is important factor. So they have to, you know, go and distribute their data centers in rural areas. They can make use of some of, you know, these areas that already rich in natural resources. They can use solar, wind resources to, you know, decrease the footprint in terms of non-renewable energy consumption. Also, they can go more into using fluid cooling technologies. This is something is also being adopted now in some data centers, and we see this something will help in general. So my colleague Takamura-san was presenting yesterday that the forecast of power consumption in the last 10, 15 years has been multiplied 5 times. In the upcoming 20 years is forecasted to be multiplied 12 times. So this is coming with, you know, great impact on the climate and also in the TCOs of this telco cloud. This is the major trends. Of course, security is something key, okay, and how you can maintain a specific security measure while you are capitalizing on hyperscaler capabilities. So sovereign clouds is very important, and it's a good collaboration point between hyperscalers and clouds.
And Nomad, what do you think from your perspective would be the major trend affecting the industry currently?
Yeah, so I think, so I concur with what Mohammed was saying, that now we saw that we have 5G Advanced launched across the network in GCC countries, right? Data is growing. Earlier in Salim's presentation, we saw that the expectation is that data is going to grow by a factor of 6 times, and then almost a third of the traffic generated will be through AI, right? And at the same time, we need to be very aware of the fact that the energy consumption needs to be on the lower side. ESG, I think, is the heart of all our companies. Nokia own target is to be net zero by 2040, and by 2030, we are targeting to reduce it by 83% for our own, let's say, internal targets. So, and then earlier from the panel discussion, we saw that the customers are getting more aware. So they will buy products from the company that is more environment friendly, right? So these are the key trends that we're seeing in the industry. From a transformation point of view, we've already seen that the move towards cloudification is happening. Last Friday, we announced we're going cloud brand with the first commercial site in MEA. So the transformation on the network side is already happening. We are working with, let's say, on the data center side, we are able to use the same hardware that we can use for the RAN as well as the core. So this provides the efficiency, it provides the scalability, synergies, and of course, on the sustainability side. Like Mohammed was saying, in terms of having the energy consumption as low as possible, we could be looking at solar applications to reduce, to be self-efficient, and also different unique technologies like liquid cooling to reduce the power consumption of the data centers. And I think this is aligned with our strategy as an industry as well, that we all need to collaborate to ensure that we meet those targets in a very, let's say, humane way rather than having a negative impact to the humanity.
Thank you for that. I think we have covered a lot with those two topics, but I wanted to stress again one thing, because we just discussed it, but that's a little bit the elephant in the room, is that those massive hyperscalers relying on physical infrastructure, on very large data centers, which are, as you said, going from megawatt to gigawatt, with, I would say, an incredible key success factor here in the region, having plenty of energy and being able to decarbonize it, because eventually that's going to be key. And the other asset of the region being the fact that since you have a lot of power and a lot of land available, and that GPU as a service, which is an emerging class of asset, is less, I would say, sensible to latency. Therefore, you can also cover a global part of the world. Now, I think the interesting thing, because we have also heard a lot of the big investor in data center saying, we have built the amount of data center that we have built from now since the 2020s will be tripled by 2030. So I think the thing on which I want to, before jumping to how the telcos are making money about it, because I think that's what will wake up the audience, is really maybe, Majid, you want to give you the perspective on the growth of DC in UAE, and maybe the growth of the availability zone also here, because that's a major trend which is impacting the infrastructure layer of the hyperscaler and the cloud.
Go ahead.
As you want. Ladies first.
I'll go after you, it's fine. Go ahead.
We talked a lot about that, and in fact, like the points I wanted to mention were taken just in the previous question, but that hyperscalers care a lot about power consumption, energy efficiency, of course, in the space, and in fact, it's not just hyperscalers, service providers, similar way. They have all these fridge boxes standing still in their facilities, and they don't have any more space to fulfill. So we are looking for this alternative solution to place new type of boxes. So how are you going to do it? How you actually address the space issue along with energy efficiency and latency. So what we do at Juniper, for example, is we introduce a new generation of our gear, mainly for data centers, is a PTX type of box, and just recently we have launched the 800 gig density ports for a PTX 10K2. So this is how you address this insane traffic which is coming through through your data center, but at the same time you address this energy efficiency and power consumption requirements, as you can control the number of nodes, control the how much optics, ICs you need, control IP, for example, introduction of IP optical convergence also has helped with power consumption and energy efficiency. Liquid cooling, yes, it's also a major trend. They also do this, and that helps with all together to bring the best results to the hyperscalers and data centers all across the globe. Please.
And Majid, maybe as a data center operator per se, maybe you want to give your perspective.
Yes, sure. So as a data center provider, part of the a telecom operator, Of course, I would love to start by saying that the data center is not anymore becoming a passive infrastructure. It's a technical solution. It's an end-to-end technical solution, which is becoming a necessity for all of the advancements that are happening in the technology era. So, as a provider, again, we have to adopt all of those technologies, and we have been implementing such technologies, which is a formula, which I call it usually a formula of like ticking all of the boxes of the technology, to the sustainability, to the security, to all of the elements that are required to provide such excellent technical solution offered in the market for the hyperscalers or for the retailers or the interested parties and customers. So, in terms of liquid cooling as a solution, I'm honestly, and also like as a super cluster, I'm happy to share that we have announced a few weeks back the largest implementation of supercluster GPU, NVIDIA GPUs in Dubai, in our own data center in Dubai, adopting the liquid cooling technology. And it's like, thousands of GPUs with over 5 megawatt of power as a phase one, growing in the near future, along with, of course, all of the requirements of liquid cooling from chillers to direct-to-chip supply, in order to also, not only provide the technical solution that is required for such implementation, but also to look after the sustainability and reduction of the power utilization, and to have a proper PUE as a result. Of course, such advancements are also supported by the applications that are going to run within those GPUs, within those data centers that are hosted in the country itself, going back to data sovereignty that, can be provided over the cloud services that we're offering, and in order to provide to the end users, a closer end-to-end solution, satisfying their needs. And I can see that the growth in the data center business and era is massively going to show up in the near future. Yes, we moved from the kilowatts to the megawatts, and now from the megawatts to the gigawatts, and hundreds of megawatts are going to be deployed very soon in the country and in the region. I see a lot of advancements and improvements going on towards that angle. Keeping in mind, of course, all of the technologies will require proper operations, proper security elements in order to fulfill the overall needs as an end-to-end solution. This is how we see it. This is how we are working towards, and happy to share further details whenever required.
Thank you for that. I think the discussion was very interesting because we overrun. We have I think the key question to address now for the audience, and so I'm skipping to the last part. I think we should, in few sentences, explain to the audience, from your perspective, how we do maximize the return on investment on the cloud strategy, because I think that was the beginning of the discussion. Say, what is all the operators and telcos will rely on cloud growth to become a growth engine in the future. So I think let's focus for maybe a couple of minutes per person to give your perspective, because I think it's going to be very valuable for the audience. Maybe, Rick, you want to start?
Sure, absolutely. How to maximize return on investment from a CSP standpoint. We've heard about the different technologies, we've heard about the different strategies. One of the things that has not been addressed, CSPs have a unique value proposition that can be a disruptor and a differentiator from that over above the hyperscalers. It's called direct carrier billing. Leveraging that go-to-market, leveraging that capacity, that existing relationship with the consumer, with the SMB, the SOHO, the large enterprise. Fundamentally, in the value chain of how cloud services are procured, bought, sold, trusted, CSPs can certainly leverage that. And then building a better sell-with strategy in terms of an ecosystem rather than just a sell-to. I believe that will be a fantastic model for CSPs in region and just globally to be able to leverage.
Thank you. Pavel?
Yeah. Well, every single moment, like all over the year, I'm having about maybe 10 cloud projects in different countries are running. And I would like to share something from my experience. I say it like 7 habits of efficient digital transformator when you adopt in the cloud. So first of all, you should have a cloud strategy. It sounds obvious, but sometimes my customers, and most of them are carriers, they think that they have strategy, but in reality they have just intention. They have some kind of dream, but they don't know how to do. And it's like causing the hesitation. And hesitation is another problem. Second habit is like, if you have cloud strategy, don't hesitate to implement it, because time is against you. It doesn't matter what you're going to do with this cloud. Are you going to build it for yourself, or are you going to build it to become a cloud service provider? If you hesitate, you're losing benefits of digital transformation. You're losing market, you're losing revenue. You're giving up to competitors. So, and third one is that when you, thinking about how to build, how to use the cloud, you're a carrier and you're thinking about, you want to use the cloud for yourself, and at the same time you want to use the cloud for like commercial customers. And all carriers have security department, and security department always say, there should be 2 different clouds. Don't make it one. I say always make it one, because never separate it. Otherwise, you will just have double expense. From security point of view, there is no benefits, but from expense point of view, is a lot of excessive expense. And one more thing is about how to say, it's a mindset. Well, when you're trying to do the cloud transformation and when you try to introduce the cloud inside the carrier, there are many people who don't appreciate that. And there are different people. For example, security always care about security. If you're going to be like B2B cloud provider, there are marketing department who against because they don't want additional workload selling this cloud. IT guys are against because they don't want additional workload like supporting this cloud. And so on and so on. And maybe the only guy who's benefit from cloud is maybe head of B2B or maybe CTO, just like that. All other people, they don't support. So you need to invest into like education and enforcing the proper mindset among your team. So they all should think about cloud. They should know the cloud, know how to take the most and take the most benefit of the cloud. Only this way, your return from your cloudification will be best.
Thank you, Pavel. Maybe Majid, you want to provide the maximization of return on investment from an operator perspective and share maybe your experience on that?
Sure. So, as we were just saying, that when you start earlier in the vision of establishing the data centers, building the data centers, adopting the cloud technologies and providing the cloud services, you capture part of the market that everyone was still yet thinking about, shall we enter or no? So I second your opinion as well, that if you don't start now, others will come and start, and then you will miss this opportunity. So of course, the return of investment will show up, on a longer scale based on the capacity that is being needed and the supply and the demand that is being in the market. Sometimes we've noticed that in some times of the deployment of the data centers along with the recent cloud and sovereign cloud offerings, the supply was very minimum and the demand was high. So, again, the return of investment accelerates from this angle. And then it goes into a normal stage, and then, it follows a pattern and it follows a wave of the advancement of technologies and which is driving the demand, and then versus the supply and the providers that are being, providing it. We can see that, return of investment in terms of such services are showing a really positive, business cases and positive returns, and hence it's being proven that it's a very good business that everyone is eager to be part of it or own it or be part of this success that's happening.
Thank you. Yeah, very insightful. Nomad, maybe you want to give your view on how you can help telcos getting the grasp of it?
Exactly. So I think from a equipment or let's say a provider of as a preferred vendor, what we are striving is that every dollar the operator investing, they are expecting a return on investment, right? So we already have quite a good models coming from the cloud, having an innovation coming either from a public or private cloud. We are looking at industry like private 5G because they have certain requirements that can be be addressed with either on-prem or off-prem. Then we are looking from a consumer's perspective, hosting those applications at the edge cloud, right? Which can be related to gaming or low latency. So all these different unique models can help operators, CSPs alike, to have different innovative solutions and offering towards their consumers, either private or regular ones.
Thank you. And Mohammed, you have a different view, I think something similar, but...
Yeah. So what I'm saying, to enhance ROI, so either you generate new revenue or reduce your costs. It's one of them. So in the reduction of costs, it's not about building the cloud and saving costs in infrastructure here and there because it's pretty the same. So reduction in the operational part is very important. So when you build, if you have its private cloud, if in the context of private cloud, you need to make sure they have the right automation and the right digital experience that really reduce and use of AI as much as possible to reduce your operational part and time to market. Because time to market is very important. If you're not taking the opportunity, someone else will take it. The other part is new revenue streams. Like be there and be bold. When you see like an opportunity, take it. So this is the last advice that I say for operators to take it.
Thank you very much. So our time is up, unfortunately. So everyone, if you can join me in getting a round of applause for this very good panel, it would be great because I think it was very insightful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.